Hi everyone, my name is Maria, and if you're watching my channel for the first time, as a hobby, I collect succulents and some tropical plants. More recently, I have about 300 different plants, and I also make these videos as my hobby. I volunteer at the Conservatory Botanical Gardens in South Bend, Indiana, and when I started volunteering 3 years ago, I was pretty much the only person that was working with desert plants, cacti and succulents. All the way until about 6 months ago, when one of my subscribers came by my channel, watched some of the videos about the conservatory and contacted me through comments on this channel. And she joined me then, and she was tremendous help, and she's also a friend. So I'm so happy that she has joined me in volunteer work, and we have done some really great projects since she arrived. So today I wanted to show you some new areas that we have taken over in Conservatory. That when I say taken over, I mean we started taking care of them in addition to Desert Dome. And before that, I wanted to show you a big project we did about a week ago that included big philodendron and a huge pot that I thought will never be able to move. I'm currently in the plant room where we just brought this big philodendron that was in a really small pot, and it was getting unhappy, getting brown leaves even though we're watering it regularly, and it was very root bound. So I decided it needed a bigger pot and some kind of long-term solution up front there in the hallway. And I have this pot in the plant room that's been sitting there forever. It's huge, it's hard to move, and there was a stump inside, and I cannot believe it was such a heavy stump. Amanda and I succeeded to get it out. So it's too heavy to be lifted, so I think we're gonna drag it to the place where we want it, and then we're gonna probably have to bring soil and bring the plant in. Amanda got the great idea. We actually just lifted half away and got it on these little, how you call this? Cart. And we're gonna now move it all the way to the hallway. So this is the spot here at the main entrance hallway where I would like us to put the philodendron. So here is Amanda.
Oh, I got it.
Awesome. So I just brought this philodendron and I'm gonna place it in the pot. I'm gonna probably groom it a little bit after by removing some of these dead parts of the leaves. There's Morris. He's always helping us. Such a good kitty. Well, this one is dry anyway, so I'm gonna take it out.
Should we try? I could try lifting this up now.
Okay.
And I'll hold it. I'll be able to.
Oh, okay. I think this is good.
Awesome. Yes, long-term solution.
He has a nice big house now. So I'm just gonna cut two leaves that are not looking the best, and then you're gonna water it. This one is not too bad, has a little bit of brown, so I'm gonna leave that one. All right, very happy with that. So guys, right now I'm in the area that's main entrance of the conservatory. So we've been working on repotting each of these pots and plants and giving them care that they need. So when we got this sticks on fire, euphorbia, it was in a much smaller pot, and I really wanted to put it in a pot that's gonna complement this plant well. So when I found this donated pot, I thought that's gonna be perfect, and I love how they go together. Then in this area where we have like a cart of some kind on wheels. We have pretty much repotted every plant here. These were all donated. This was from Lush Lighting, little store in Niles after the freezing. And it was root bound until we put it in this bigger pot. Then we have some sansevierias that are not very happy with as bright of a light here. So maybe we're gonna have to move them. These are actually my plants that I brought here to Conservatory. I think they were impulse purchases. You know guys, that happens to all of us who collect succulents. So I am not really wanting them home. If I do start missing them, I can always bring them for a period of time. That's a nice thing when I volunteer at the Conservatory. Then we have some other donations. This is some kind of Dracaena here. And then this jade that we didn't get to yet, but it's in a really small pot and I think it needs to be repotted. Here's the Philodendron, guys, that we worked on. This is such an incredibly large and heavy pot. I can't believe we actually did this, and we freed up so much space in the plant room when we moved this one. And then we also pulled out some of the variegated aloe from Dendrobium because they get such a beautiful colors when they're stressed, like reddish tones, and we thought it would be a nice addition for this hallway. This is a tree that Emily didn't want to throw away. Emily's the director of the Conservatory, and it really didn't have any leaves, and we moved it to a bigger planter, filled up the soil, and it seems to be happy. I think it's coming back. Then we have a little Triniscantia here trailing. And then guys, I have to tell you about this plant here. This is going to be a great story and also tip for you. So if you want a stunning looking plant for your apartment that barely needs any light or any water, this is the one. This plant was donated and it was in a much smaller pot, and it was in the corner that I'm going to show you in a minute in a plant room for about a year. I think it was watered maybe a few times that year. It had a lot of dried up leaves, but it was still hanging in there. So a few weeks ago, I decided I'm going to take care of this plant, and we placed it in a bigger pot. We tied these branches, and we brought it here. And we were a little bit concerned because it's a pretty bright light here in the hallway that it's going to maybe have burned leaves, but no burned leaves. This is such an amazing survivor. Survivor plant, and I'm so glad that it's happy here. So we have another Kalanchoe plant here, and then we have some of the donations of Dieffenbachia. We have so many of these that we have rooted in water. And Benjamin tree, Ficus Benjamin. I don't think it's too happy here because there's a lot of drift and cold air during the winter time. And then it usually loses a lot of leaves during the winter, which is kind of long here in Indiana. We used to have a string of hearts, variegated string of hearts here, but we about half a year ago pulled it out of here. There was few leftovers. As you can see, they already started growing here. So I think it's going to fill up this area again. I think that this tree may need a bigger pot too, so maybe that's going to be another project we're going to work on. And then there's a lovely jade crassula here with like a beautiful stress colors. So guys, this is our plant room that was so incredibly packed with stuff. We have spent hours here, Amanda and I, clearing up some of the donated plants, and also cleaning up pots and separating the pots that are broken, that we don't want to keep, and the ones that we want to keep for Conservatory. And some of the donations were here for like over a year. And that plant that I just told you about, it was in this corner. This is where it was standing. So guys, there was hardly any light coming to this plant, and it was hardly ever watered, and it survived whole year. What an incredible plant, really. I wanted to take it home because it's so amazing. But look we cleared also these surfaces that were like almost packed full. I'm so excited for us to come to a point where we can clean up this even more and that area even more so that we can just function and plant here easier. Well, it looks like we got another donation. This is a cool one. That is Repotting tetrasperma. So we have some already at the conservatory. They're wonderful plants. I have a really nice one at home. So, but these are very popular. So this is tropical section of the conservatory, and I don't ever work in this area, but every once in a while, if I see a good price of plants on the marketplace, I will try to get them for conservatory or for myself. Sometimes recently I got into tropical plants at home, and I was buying Monstera Densoni, and you know that that's a very popular plant. It can be really expensive. I was concerned that the one that I have at home is gonna die, so I found one that was just an amazing price. And when I bought this plant home, it was too big for me to keep, so I brought it to conservatory. And guys, look at how happy it is. I just brought it maybe 3 weeks ago, and it didn't have one yellow leaf since I brought it here. It just kept growing new leaves. And here it's under the tree, so very indirect light. I'm learning about these because at home, the one that I have was really stressed and getting yellow because it was facing south and east directly. And these like more indirect light. So another area that Amanda and I started taking care of is this hallway that's connecting tropical area with the reception area where we usually have events here in the conservatory. So I wish we recorded when we were doing this, but we actually took all of the plants off this elevated area, and then we went through every plant and saw which plant is root bound. Pretty much 70% were root bound. We repotted them, and then we arranged them here after we cleaned up this area really well. So I wanted to show you close up how the arranged plants that we have here look like. We have some stapelias here. And this is especially rare here, succulent that we have. He's such a sweetie. Then we have some cacti, not many. I have really taken all of the cacti from here and moved to Desert Dome. In this area, I noticed that sedums did really well. Then we have some, I don't even know what this is. Is this like type of Hoya? Maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe some kind of epiphyllum, more like epiphyllum. This is something I brought a few years ago because I didn't feel like collecting this one. And it actually has some new growth here. And I don't know who donated this. I think it's fig tree plant, something like that. Then I recently got this one on a sale for conservatory. We have some sedums here. This is my sedum morganianum that I brought here a few years ago, and it seems to be happy here, so I'm not gonna move it. Then we actually have a euphorbia here that seems to be also happy. Here's some more sedums. Then we have one of the rare Sansevierias with really large leaves. I'm not sure that I know the name of this one. I love this pot. Somebody donated it and it wasn't used, and I always, when I find round pots, I like to put something like spiky, kind of like Haworthia or agave or aloe, because I feel like they complement each other really well. So we repotted this plant that was root bound and put it in this planter. Then we have some more Hoya, ZZ plant. There's flapjack. I think the flapjack is not getting its colors here. Because it probably needs more sun. Okay, there is a cutting here. This is another kalanchoe plant that I brought here that has been doing good, and another one. Then we have some more Sansevierias. But as you can see, it really looks nice. there is still a few projects in this area that we want to work on, and that will include probably these mangaves that are on the ground. This one here, that's called Bell Hair Day, and these two, I think this one is called Purple People Eater. They have been for a year in the same spot, and I think that they have overgrown the pots, and they would probably be a good addition for the desert dome. So, I mean, Amanda and I will probably plant those in the desert dome. Well, let me show you how the desert dome is looking. Before we go to the desert dome, this is the reception area, and on the both sides here, there is red shelves. And maybe if you have watched my other conservatory videos, there is succulents on these shelves. So Amanda and I maintain these shelves, water them, clean them from pests, and typically every 2 months we will take all of the pots down, clean the shelves, clean the debris, and then put the pots back. But close up you can see there is a lot of Ursulas here. Then we have some echeverias. They don't seem to like this area except certain echeverias like this one that I bought a few years ago for Conservatory is doing wonderful topsy-turvy. We keep getting mealybugs in this area, but in general, really in the Conservatory during the summertime we get a lot of mealybugs. So we have some euphorbias, kalanchoe plants, some sedums, aloes, some pretty cursulas. And on the other side here, we have some more aloes and hawortias, and this is a cursula, trailing cursula, ghost plant, kalanchoe plants, bear paw, beautiful aged bear paw, and yeah, so, and there is this tree above here that always drops blooms. They look really pretty when they bloom, but when they start dropping, we have to like regularly clean this area. All right, so just yesterday we worked on a project in a desert dome and I'm going to show you what kind of problem we encountered and what we did and how it looks now. So I wanted to show you one of the problems that we have here on this big euphorbia tree, sticks on fire. We get a lot of mealybugs, as you can see, and then sooty mold together with mealybugs. You see this black, and it spreads all over these areas here on the fence around the desert dome. But today we're gonna clean this fence by using Dawn dish detergent and the rags. So we're getting ready to do that. Just to give you a close up of this sooty mold. You can see how black it is here. And these mealybugs. And you can see how dense it is. We actually 2 years ago I think cut it, and it just filled up. These grow so fast, and birds like to get in there and make nests. And then here it is, guys. So as you can see this. You can see what a difference it's going to make when it's cleaned up. Much better. So we're going to go all around. So as you can see, we have cleaned all of the fence around the desert dome, and it looks so much better. We didn't completely clean up this tree. I tried to spray it a little bit with alcohol and water what I could reach, but there is a lot of mealybugs. It definitely needs to be trimmed again because it's so dense. It's just perfect for pests and that sooty mold to to stay there, so we're gonna have to work on that. But look at all these agaves, guys, in just a few years, how much they have grown. So probably 3 years ago, we have cut down the one that was blooming and died, and these were the pups that popped after we cut it. And look at these pups now, like they're huge. They're probably 4 or 5 feet tall, really big. I'm glad we pulled out the other pups that popped, because it would be just like a agave jungle. So let me show you close up some other things that we have worked on. We always, when we come, just the watering of the desert dome, of all the pots, and all the areas that we're maintaining takes us a little bit over an hour for both me and Amanda working together. Here is my close plant, the one that I propagated so many times at home. It's been here at the conservatory for the last, I would say, 5 months, something like that. I'm planning to leave it here. I'm really happy with this new area that Amanda and I created, because look how big this agave is that we planted there. It really took off, seems very happy. Really, agaves are growing really well here. This one is very big too as well. Oh no, he's using desert dome as a bathroom again. Right by my Stapelia. There he is. So yeah, weeds have been growing really fast. As you can see, we just cleaned like a few weeks ago. So I think if we could get another volunteer to help us, it would be great, because then Amanda and I could focus on propagation, cleaning up the plant room and other projects, and maybe somebody could help us just with cleaning and watering. Look at, guys, this cactus, how much it has grown and how tall it is. This is the one that I donated. I remember when I bought it about, was it 3 years ago? And it was that $20 pot, big pot from Lowe's. And look at how big it is now. It's just so beautiful. And then we have just a lot of pots all around. We try to organize them and keep them like in clusters like this. Because it looks pretty like that. And then we created some arrangements like this one to add some color to the conservatory and the desert dome. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the tour and update on different projects Amanda and I have worked on. I will see you soon in the next video.